welcome to What's Up Ocala. I'm your host, Andrew Prater, and today I have a very special guest who I know is going to be a lot of fun. You're not going to want to miss this one. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Good morning, everybody. Here in Ocala, Marion County, my name is Thomas Lease. I'm actually the owner and creator of Affordable Moving USA, here locally owned and operated.
Well, you are local, but you travel all over the place, right?
All over the United States, Vancouver, Canada. I've been to Anchorage, Alaska.
Goodness.
Every state in the United States I've traveled to.
Oh, wow. So is it people that are moving here and you're going and picking up their belongings or vice versa? What are you seeing lately?
So 90% of our business that leaves the state of Florida is actually the elder parents, the elder grandparents that are going home to siblings, going home to friends. You know, they have retired down here in Florida, you know, because that's what we're known here in the state of Florida, is the retirement state. But once they get to that point, a lot of them make the smart decision to get back around family or friends before it's too late, so that it doesn't put the burden on the kids, the brothers, the sisters, stuff like that, once they have made that decision.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I don't like moving. I'm in my 40s and I don't like moving at all. It's stressful. Even when you have a company that's going to come in and move you, it's still stressful. I can't even imagine doing it in my 70s or 80s. That seems overwhelming. And the amount of stuff that I've accumulated in my life so far, having to deal with all that and then maybe doubling it, that's a lot.
We see it every day when we come into homes. You know, we offer a free in-home estimate for Marion County, to where we come in. And we're a little bit different than other companies because I have a servant's heart. So I will go in and sit down with someone for an hour or two. I'm not in a rush because it's not something that a lot of people do every day. A lot of people don't move every single day. So to have someone come in, you know, only spend 10 or 15 minutes with someone isn't efficient enough for myself as a business owner to provide the proper information, give enough time for the person to get to know you a little bit, because all those things take that stress off of that person. Every little thing that you do for that person or explain to that person actually reduces the stress of the move a lot.
Okay. Well, I personally, I've moved many times. I don't even want to admit to how many times I've moved. It's kind of embarrassing, but I've not used a moving company. You know, in my age group prior to this, I would say U-Haul trucks are just, you know, you go do your thing, you get the truck, you load it all, it's all on you, and, you know, and then you hope and pray you can make it across the country or the state or whatever you're living in. But walk me through it. What is it like to actually hire a moving company? And like, what do you guys do? Do you like box stuff up? Like, what exactly is it? What happens?
So first and foremost, just when you call in, you know, we have the best staff. So even me as the owner, I have a boss, which is my wife. I've been married to my wife for 13 years, but we have when, you know, it's 7 to 5, Monday through Friday, she's the boss. But it all starts with a phone call. So when someone calls in, we're very informative, we're friendly, we're easy to talk to. We could spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes just on the phone call on the intake. But it's super important, because if you have someone that doesn't give you the information or doesn't want to just give you a few minutes of their time right off the phone call of trying to hire the company, what do you think they're going to give you throughout the process of getting relocated to where you need to go?
Are they really going to take the time with your possessions and the care?
Correct.
Right.
So we are not in a rush at Affordable Moving USA. From the first phone call to the very last paperwork that we do for your unload wherever it is you're going, it's all about taking the time, explaining things. One of the things that I always like to explain to my customers or potential customers is, if I have a problem with my phone and I call the phone company and I say, hey, my phone is doing this, and the person on the other line, they tell you, okay, well, go to settings, go to this, go to this, go to this, go to this. And I'm like, whoa. I am not a technical person, so I need you to slow down, and I need you to hold my hand and walk me through this process, because I can move your belongings across the United States, but when it comes to my phone or something that's technology nowadays, it's either usually one of my daughters that has to fix it or someone at a customer care center, but I need you to walk me through it step by step. And so that's the same mentality that we try and hold with Affordable Moving USA. Again, when you first call in, you get either Angela or you get Jessica. They get all the information, and some people go, well, why do you need all this information? It's so that we're better prepared for you when we come in for your estimate. A lot of moving companies, they just take your name and your phone number down. We ask for the addresses of arrival, delivery, if there's any pets, any family members, because we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page in this family, especially when you're dealing with the elderly community. You know, the elderly get ripped off a lot.
They do.
Especially from moving companies.
Yeah, they are very vulnerable.
Correct. So we always try and guide them in the right direction. And if you're an elderly adult and you don't understand everything that is being discussed with you, we always like to reach out to a sibling, a spouse, a daughter, a son.
And without permission, you can't talk to them about everything first. So getting that permission, that's key. That's
from the customer that I'm sitting with. And 90% of the time, after I leave an estimate or before I leave an estimate, they're like, the customer themselves like, wow, you've been here an hour and a half. You have helped explain so much of what I need to do, where I need to prepare, where I need to start. You know, it's almost guaranteed if you just spend the time with them, people, they're willing to hire you because of just what you have educated them on at the beginning.
Like imagine they start getting into some of their hopes and fears and stuff like that. Maybe they've had a bad experience in the past. So it's taking that time out to really listen to their needs, that's huge. And that's kind of lost nowadays. They just kind of, they want it real quick on the internet. All right, here's the quote, and then move on. And then come to find out, oh, wait, there was like 6 pianos there. Do you guys even move pianos? Is that a thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Pianos, we pretty much...
There's a definite thing with pianos there.
And a lot of people love their baby grand pianos. I mean, it's just one of those things. And when I started this business 15 years ago, I was afraid to move pianos. And I would go in with 4 or 6 guys. Well, come to find out, a baby grand piano really only takes one person to get it all set up. And then you would need a second person to get it to the truck safely. But it's actually once you educate yourself, and I'm not one to sit back, I'm one to educate myself and learn. You're never too old or never too young to learn something. You just have to be able to have your ears open and have an open mind.
Okay, well that just opens up a whole new world for me right there. What about insurance? Because what happens if that baby grand maybe needed the 6 guys? Like, what happens with that?
So insurance for moving companies is a very, very gray area.
Right.
Okay, so insurance for companies with insurance, and a lot of them don't have the proper insurances that is required to be a licensed and operable company. There's 4 different types of insurances. Well, you have to have auto insurance, which drives the truck.
Right.
You have to have general liability, which covers my employees on your property in case someone gets hurt.
Okay.
Then you always have that workman's comp. So workman's comp is a government, federal, you always have to have it.
Yep.
But the 4th one that a lot of moving companies, smaller companies cannot afford is the cargo insurance.
That's the one that I was the most curious
Correct.
about, because I think that's the one they kind of skip over sometimes.
Yes, ma'am, they do. And so those are the ones that I actually go over with my customers before I leave to let them know what the outcome is of that. And a lot of customers don't know to ask that question, which is important. So when you bring that up unprovoked, it really sets someone's mind at ease. So insurance for most companies that I'm understanding is 40 to 60 cents per pound. That doesn't cover anything.
Yeah.
But when you have professional movers, guys that you have had working with you from 16 months to 9 years, these are professional movers. So what my protocol is I will either repair it or replace it with an equal or lesser value within 60 days of your move. But 90% of the time, it's a rub on a chair. It's a small piece of glass that may have gotten broke in the process. But when you look at your customer and say, hey, this happened, it was a mistake, we take pictures, we note it on the paperwork, then the team leader goes back and we start the process of getting it repaired and delivered. And on an easy one, it usually takes 3 or 4 days. And so when you provide a piece of glass that may have gotten broke to a customer back in 3 or 4 days, they're ecstatic about it. They're still going to tell their neighbors, they're still going to tell their friends, people that they surround themselves with daily. You're still going to be on the brighter side of that transaction instead of something getting broken, not answering your phone calls. There's a lot of different things that customers have to deal with the moving industry that we try and change to make it a lot less stress-free of an environment.
Wow. Okay, well that's really important. So let's say you are moving somebody that's elderly, maybe they have some mobility issues or something like that. They're moving back home, their family couldn't come down to help them. I mean, how are they going to get all of that packed up? Because they got a lot of stuff. I know they have a lot of stuff. I've seen their houses once they move out of it.
So we're a full service company, from the phone call to the free in-home estimate here in Marion County. I will go out, sit down with that customer. I explain everything. So we will do packing services. So we come in 2 to 3 days prior to the actual load date. We'll pack up the house. It's an hourly service. So there's a non-fragile service, and then there's a fragile service. But the non-fragile and the fragile both include 2 professional packers and all the materials. So you don't have to do nothing but let them in.
Nice. Yeah.
Let the packers in. They do 4 to 6 hours a day. We don't come in and do 6, 10, 8 hours. It overwhelms the customer. Plus, a lot of my packers are ladies from my church.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay.
so I incorporate a lot of that in. So with our company, you're not going to get the cussing, the smoking, the what they did last night or last week. A lot of my guys attend my church. A lot of my ladies that are my packers attend my church. So it's a really good community.
Well, you guys are kind of known for your community leadership and your how much you give back. So I know you're pretty modest. You don't really normally talk about stuff like that, but I would love to hear, what are you guys doing? What are you into right now?
So when we're not at work, we're at Family Life Church. It's just amazing. Angie, my wife, and I, best friend, started there about 4.5 years ago, and it was a very small church that was just opening up and growing, and we have really found ourselves being a part of that. So my best friend and I, we are actually leaders for a discipleship group. So we counsel marriage couples that would like to have a better marriage, a better friendship within each other. So Thursdays is marriage discipleship, Sunday is church all day. We do outreach projects for the communities here in Marion County. I have about 60 volunteers that'll come out and do a project. We've done TLC, we've done the teens pregnant shelter in Bellevue, Florida. Family Life Church, we feed the teachers on Teacher Appreciation Week.
Oh, how fun.
So we go set up at the schools. We do I know that Rondo that used to have Mojos, we do the Feed the Firefighters through Family Life Church, and with Jeff Baker, who did all this. So we also really support the Isaiah House 117. It's about giving back to your community, and we're really big on that. And if you know me personally, which I know a lot of people, because everybody's my friend until they tell me, hey, I don't want to be your friend.
Until they're not, yeah.
I talk to everybody, so I'm not one to be shy.
No, I don't think that word could ever be applied to
not for me. So yes, so we do a lot of that. We have 3 daughters, so we're blessed. So we do a lot with my youngest daughter's school. My middle daughter is in a bowling league at Westport. My oldest daughter just got married August 31st.
Oh, wow.
My middle's daughter's birthday was September 4th. My oldest daughter's birthday was September 10th. And I had a major surgery to rebuild my neck September 10th.
Oh my goodness.
So we had a very busy end of August, beginning of September.
Picking up all of those pianos.
Correct. So I tell people my check engine light came on, and I had to go in for preventative maintenance, just like taking care of your car.
Yes.
But yes, so we're really big in our community. So that's one of the number one things.
Wow, it sounds like you've had a busy end of the year then. So what's going on the last quarter then? We've got the holidays coming up. I don't think a lot of people move normally during the holiday season. Is that kind of slow for you, or busy, or what's going on with that?
It actually starts a lot of our out of state. So the world we live in has been a little confused. It's been hard. You don't know what you're getting into the following day with everything that's going on. COVID, insurance rates, builders, employees. A lot of people's homes are not closing. So we just went through 2 hurricanes.
Yes.
So with the moving industry, whenever you're doing a closing on a house, but you have to sell this house to fund the next house, and there's a lot that is in there, that it's a lot of working parts.
Yes.
And so the first hurricane that came through, Debbie, that stopped closings because a title company, a bank, an insurance company is not going to write a new contract until an inspector goes out and inspects that house after the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
So they were backed up already from the first hurricane, Debbie, and then a week later another hurricane came through. So it's not about us, it's more about the inspectors are so far behind and it's putting a lot of people in a lot of bad situations. Where here at Affordable Moving USA, we have already completed all our moves, but that meant our guys worked all day Saturdays, Sundays to help get our customers into their new homes. There's a lot that you have to do, and we have an awesome, amazing team of middle-aged to older guys that understand the work ethic, that understand that somebody needs to be moved even though it's a Sunday. So we're blessed on our team members. And a lot of companies will say employees. We don't consider them employees. We consider them family members because they've been with us a long time. And we, appreciate everything they've done as well as they appreciate everything we do for them. So
that's fantastic.
It is different. It's a different atmosphere at Affordable Moving USA.
That's awesome. That really is. So as far as, what you've seen, you mentioned COVID, that definitely changed things, not just for us here in Ocala, but, worldwide, really.
Correct.
What have you seen? I know the Chamber of Commerce, they say there's 269 people moving to Ocala every single week. So is that something that you've really seen? Is it, more people moving? Like, you would know more than anybody else, right? How many people are moving to and how many are moving out. So what are you actually seeing in the trenches?
So that's a very, it's funny that you say that because I had a TV news program come in and actually interviewed me for that.
Really?
Yeah, because...
well, I'm leftovers then.
Oh, no. This was about 6 months ago,
Okay.
but they actually came in and they wanted to know from a moving company's aspect why the growth is coming to Marion County.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand it, or they just don't see it because they don't get out to certain parts of town. If my numbers are right from the last time I checked, we have brought in 13 distribution centers in the last 3 to 4 years.
Yes.
So if you look at that, 13, okay, so on an average of one, and these are just my made up numbers, okay, so please don't call in and say that's not correct because these are my guesses.
I will hold it to you. It's okay.
Yeah. You're looking at about an estimated 50,000 people per distribution center. So you're talking about the actual employee, the employee's spouse, and then an average of 1 to 3 children per couple. So every distribution center is adding that amount of people to them in order for jobs to operate the everyday operations. But what we're seeing is a lot of them are moving in. There's a lot of houses still being built, but they're delayed on being built. So you have people that are renting, waiting for a home to be built, waiting for a home to come available while they're renting before they move in. So we don't do a lot of moving into the state of Florida, but we do a lot of shuffling once they've already been here and a house has been built or it is ready for them.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine by the time they move from out of state to Ocala, they're in a rental home for 6 months to a year, and now they're barely out of boxes, and they got to go back in the boxes to get into the house that is now finished.
Yes.
I would be calling somebody too. Great. You know what? I'm over it. Here, could you just help me with this? So.
Yeah, we get a lot of that, and we steer people in directions of educating them on how to save money and how to make it affordable. I do have to say that I am not the cheapest company in town, but it's because I've had my employees for a long period of time. Where some other companies may have a big turnover ratio for employees to where they only keep their employees 30, 60 days because it's a hard job. It's, especially during the summer months, it could get to be 120 degrees in the back of one of these trucks.
Oh, yeah.
So, as the winter comes around, fall season comes around, it gets a little bit nicer, but it's a big difference when you're hiring a company that somebody is only 30 days into being a mover compared to someone that's 3 years being into a mover. But it also comes with the cost because this person that's only been there 30 days is still only making minimum wage, where someone that's been there 3 years is making quite a substantial amount more money because they've worked for it. They've earned what it is they're paying. And we start out, on the minimum wage side, but if you come in and you show that you're willing to educate yourself and be on time and have a great attitude and be part of our family, then the money comes. So that's...
We have a saying here that it's customers over commission. If you put the customers first, you never have to worry about commission.
Correct. And a lot of the, let's see the word I'm looking for, a lot of the workforce nowadays has this, I need to make everything up front. I need to make it right now. I need to make more than you, or I can't work. And that's where a lot of this future of our society is mistaken, because as a business owner, if you were to come to me and I say, hey, I start out on the lower side, but you show up to work every day, you don't complain, you get your job done, and you do it at 120%, in 6 months you could be running a company. Right. Instead of thinking I need to run the company the very first day.
Right.
Where a lot of people will turn down that job. And I have a lot of friends that are business owners, and I have a lot of friends that are highly educated but can't find a job. And
yeah.
So a friend of mine is a welder, off subject completely, and he wanted to make $50 an hour, but they were only offering 25. And I said, why don't you go in at the 25, and with your work ethic and the way you show up to work on time and your personality and your attitude, I guarantee in 6 months you could be running that company. You just have to get your foot in
right.
the door and show what you're worth instead of wanting an instant gratification.
Well, we do have a lot of instant gratification. This is, I mean, even with like Google, the idea when I was a kid where you could just type out a question, any question you ever want, and instantly have the answer to it. No, in my generation, it was go look it up in the encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia.
It was like, is it worth the effort? Do I really need to know that badly? You know, so that instant access that we have with the internet has definitely changed mindset worldwide. So it's not really, you know, everybody's like, oh, this generation, well, you know, we kind of created the mess. You know, we created, you know, this generation created the Google and the social medias and the, you know, all of that. So, you know, it is what we made it. So
well, and there still has to be a labor community in the workforce. There still has to be movers. There still has to be lawn care. Not everybody can be a desk job. Otherwise, we would not be able to
right.
complete a lot of painters, electricians, plumbers, ACs.
Trades. Yes,
those
absolutely.
are all physical labor, which, you know, growing up, your parents will tell you, stay in school, get an education, go to college. And
you don't want to be a plumber, do you? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you know what they're making? They're making bank.
They make very good AC. It's about what you dedicate yourself to. And again, we're going to get back to the workforce nowadays thinks that they should be the boss within, you know, 48 hours of being hired from a job instead
right.
of showing what they're worth and earning it like you did back in the days.
Yeah, we always
old school.
Yeah. I paid my dues, that's for sure. Even when I was learning this, you know, back in 2007, I got licensed and I went to a property management company and learned the ropes. I was there for 5 years because I wanted to learn everything that I needed to learn. I needed to go through all sorts of different things, and now, you know, now I feel very strong about being able to answer questions. You know, anything that walks through the door, I can handle it because I had that education. I paid my dues.
Correct.
And it just really equipped me to actually run the company. So it is. You do have to pay your dues. You gotta, you know, start out at the bottom and work your way up. Even though that is kind of a foreign concept sometimes, but it is. I mean, once you learn, it's amazing what you can do. There are so many opportunities. It's just you're not going to get those opportunities right at first.
It builds the foundation too.
Exactly.
So when you have a great foundation, everything else around it works correctly instead of trying to shortcut it. And that's the same thing with the moving industry. You have to take the time. You have to put forth the effort. And the hardest part about moving is really just the loading of the truck, playing Tetris, making sure everything is packed correctly.
Right.
The way that I say it is building a box inside of a box. Because the box trucks are square. So when you get in there, you want to be able to build a box and almost, you know, continue back to the end of the truck to make sure
right.
everything's correct. And if you take the extra effort, when you're loading the truck, when you drive 1,000, 2,000 miles and you unload and you have no damage, and everything is exactly the way it is, it's because you put in the effort up front. So
right.
the reward will come at the end.
Yeah. What is it? If you have to chop a tree down, you have 4 hours to do it, you should spend the first 3 sharpening your axe.
Instead of going in with a dull axe.
Don't go in with a dull axe. Get in there, ponder it, look it out, figure it out. Heavy stuff in the front. Yeah, I've moved a lot. I've moved a lot.
Yep. So it's a little reverse. So the very back of the truck is the front, believe it or not, and the front of the truck is the back. So it's a little different.
Yeah.
That was confusing.
That was confusing. So I'll leave it in your very capable hands to do the moving of people around all over the place. If anybody wanted to get in touch with you, how do they do that? How do they contact you? How do they have you come out and give an estimate? So
we have multiple ways. AffordableMovingUSA@gmail.com. There is our website. You can just click right on the front page link. That'll actually put a request for information, a call back from Affordable Moving. We also, our phone numbers are very easy, 352-877-2900.
Oh, very nice phone numbers.
Yeah, so again, you'll be able to get right through to Angie or Jesse, and they'll be able to start the process because it's a long process. Moving is not just a here today, gone tomorrow. And then we try to stay away from those here today, gone tomorrows because it's a lot of stress. But it's an easy process if you hire the right company. One of the things that is my motto, and I will not change, is my price that I come in and give you at the beginning is exactly what it'll be at the end, unless you have changed something the day of that estimate.
How often do I hear about that? The complaint is often where it's, or that it's completely late. They'll literally weeks or months late because they won't move it until they have enough to fill up the truck. So if your items don't fill up the truck, they're going to wait until they have another job that comes up.
That is correct.
That is going in the same general direction, and then your stuff gets crammed in with all of their stuff, and hopefully it all comes out in the end. And I've actually seen that. I've literally seen it where they just kind of literally threw everything in, and it was late by like a month, and it was a mess. It was a mess.
So we're a lot different than that. Affordable Moving USA is a privately owned and operated company, and it's a private service truck to your belongings. So we're not going to come in and put stickers all over your stuff that you can't get off. We don't come in and put 3 or 4 different people's belongings on the same truck. When we come in, we load your stuff in a private truck, and a turnaround is usually just 3 to 4 days.
That's awesome.
So if we come in and load you on a Monday, last week we had one going to Indiana. So the guys went in, loaded the young lady on Monday. They drove Tuesday, they drove Wednesday because we're allotted 11 and a half hours by DOT regulations. So we drove Tuesday, we drove Wednesday. They make contact with the customer once they've arrived in town, schedule the delivery time for the next morning, come in the next morning, we unload everything, we assemble everything that we disassembled on the load up. We do final walkthroughs with the customers to make sure that everything is placed. We wrap the furniture, so we don't just put rubber bands around it. We use 72 by 80 inch, 1 inch thick professional moving pads. But then once that pad is on that piece of furniture, we take a roll of 20 inch saran wrap and we actually shrink wrap that blanket to that piece so that it doesn't fall off while you're carrying it. It's not a hazard when you're carrying a piece up a ramp and the blanket falls off and the employee trips. So it is secured to that. We also box TVs, so TVs get boxed. We also put your mattress that you sleep in a commercial grade sanitized bag. So that mattress that you sleep in doesn't get drug along your floor. It doesn't touch the ground outside. It doesn't touch the floor of the truck.
Yeah.
And then when you're doing the unload, you don't have sweaty employees all grabbing your mattress. So
never really thought about it till now. Now I'm not going to be able to get it out of my head.
Correct. So you want somebody that's going to protect your belongings because, and again, I look at it the way that I would. Would I want my mattress that I paid a lot of money for being drug on the ground? Somebody else, there's sweat touching it, stuff like that. So our guys, they'll actually take the mattress and put it right into a mattress bag off the box springs, load it onto the truck. But not only does it protect the mattress, but it also helps our employees because they have 12 milliliter handles on the side, so they're able to carry it correctly. So we provide the proper equipment so that you're not going to see one guy trying to do something he shouldn't do. So there's a lot to it. Yeah, there's a lot to it. And when you sit down and explain all this stuff to someone in their home and you're not rushing in and rushing out, it really helps the customer make their decision. And we want them to compare apples to apples, not apples to an orange or a banana.
Well, I know our time is limited today, but it opens up a good question, an interesting question. When people are actually interviewing different companies, and of course we would hope that yours would be one of them that they're interviewing, but what kind of questions should they ask? Because some people don't even know what to ask in order to compare. So what are some of the questions you would recommend so that they can figure out exactly what they're going to be charged or what the process is?
Some of the questions that really need to be asked is insurance questions, licensing questions, because there are a lot of companies out there that are just trying to make a living, and we don't knock them, but it makes the industry in anything more expensive when you don't do it right. And I know a lot of people may not understand that, but if you shortcut in the beginning, you're never going to get it correct. So you always want to, some of the things I always tell my customers is do your homework. The Better Business Bureau is a great place to review any company because we don't pay to have reviews on there. There's a lot of places that you can pay to have reviews. We don't do that. And anytime someone, messages me, hey, we can do reviews I will earn my reviews. I appreciate
I feel the
what
same.
your business is, but I will earn my reviews so that they're honest and out front. So I always tell my customers, always do 15 minutes of homework. Can save you a lot of headache and a lot of stressful and a lot of cost on the end of your move. So ask about employee turnovers. How long have you had your employees? That is a very big thing because, again, just whenever you have great employees that have been there a long time, it shows something about the company instead of big turnover. Our guys are the same guy. The same guys that load you are the same guys that unload you. So if you get loaded up and it's a different type of company, the only person that's going to be on that unload that's the same is the driver, because they hire the guys down here to load, they hire guys up there to unload. Where with our company, Affordable Moving USA, it's the same employees from start to finish, so that they know what they've disassembled, they know what they need to put back together, they know that there's glass here, there's just certain things that you have to do. Are there any add-ons? Are there any additional fees? With Affordable Moving USA, we hear this a lot, and there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, well, you're a little bit more than the last guy. And we say, okay, listen, it's what you can choose to go with. It's what your budget affords, but all of our fees are up front.
Right.
So as an example, 3 professional movers, a professional moving truck, insured, licensed, overhead is $225 an hour. Well, you could call somebody else and they may tell you a different number for 2 or 3 employees. But at the end, there's going to be the additional fees that they don't tell you about up front are the return trip charge between 30 minutes and an hour, equipment surcharge, which is the wrap, the equipment they need, fuel surcharge. So once you add all those hidden numbers up, you go, wait a minute, I could have gone with this company, Affordable Moving USA, and I would have known all my numbers up front compared to having to guess and be surprised at the end, which nobody likes a surprise.
No, especially hidden fees are just, it feels like you're getting nickel and dime to death, but at some companies, it's not nickel and dimes.
It's a lot of money,
Yeah.
and the moving industry already has a black eye. And so imagine going into a customer's home that you're getting ready to give an estimate to, and the first words out of their mouth are, the last movers destroyed everything I own. It didn't get there for 30 or 45 days after. We were missing stuff. We had somebody else's belongings that did.
All stuff I've heard.
And now I have to sell you a move job.
Oh, yeah. It makes everybody, you're only as strong as the weakest link. So if it's a company out there that's a moving company, but it's just a guy with a truck and he's just like winging it, and then you go in there, it's just not the same. It's not even a comparison.
It's not apples to apples.
No.
And so again, when you have a fully licensed, insured company that's had employees that have been with it for a long time, they're going to be more expensive because they're doing it the correct way. So it's hard for, it's not really hard because our reputation succeeds ourselves. So when we, on top of the world, Oak Run, Spruce Creek, Stone Creek, all those, it's like a good doctor or a good lawyer. If we move this person, they're going to tell their neighbor, they're going to tell their family, friends, so Facebook is a big thing.
It is.
And so we get recommended on that a lot. So it's just about doing your homework and asking people.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming in and explaining it to everyone today about the moving process. I know I learned a lot, so that's very helpful. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
One more time, tell everyone how to get in touch with you. So I will make sure and put it in the notes, in the description, in the comments. But give everyone one more time how to contact you.
Affordable Moving USA. We're located at 6793 Southwest Highway 200. Our website is affordablemovingusa.com. Our telephone number is 352-877-2900. We family owned and operated, been here in the area about 15 years. And also, I have another one for you. So we are one of the very few moving companies that have additional options for the budget, which I haven't really gotten into. We're also a Penske dealer.
Oh, okay.
So we're the Penske dealer in Affordable Moving in Southwest Ocala. There's no other Penske location here in Ocala except for the main district office. which is on 12th Street. They're getting ready to move over to Highway 40.
Okay.
But if the moving itself is a little costly, which it is, to hire a company to move you across the United States, if you're still motivated, you can still do it. We can provide you an option B where you rent your own truck. Our guys can load it for you. You can drive it across the United States, but then you would have to find someone at the other end to unload it for you here nor there. Or if you just have a truck and you want.
Aren't the Penske truck? I always think of them as the big semis. It's not the big semis. It's
No.
like the U-Haul type.
Correct.
Like
So
24 foot or something.
So
like
we
that.
offer a 16-footer and we offer a 26-footer for do-it-yourselves.
Cool.
So again, Penske is a large corporation, but they usually don't allow moving companies to do rental trucks because it just doesn't go hand in hand.
It really does, though. I mean, if they want to save some money or something, they can just go ahead and do it that way, and then you have more options for them.
Correct.
So I think that's a great idea.
Correct. And again, just moving forward, it's something that we offer for an additional option. It's a more affordable rate if you're still capable of doing it yourself.
Right. Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So
Correct.
I think that's definitely going to go under my heading. Yeah. Can we move? Yes. Should we? No.
Correct. In the long run, what is it you really want to do? So it is. It's a hard industry, but we do pretty good at it, and it's nothing wrong with being honest. If you're honest up front, you sleep a lot better at night. I sleep very well at night because I'm just honest and upfront with people, which makes it a lot easier.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming in. We greatly appreciate it. And you guys, if you're looking to get some quotes, definitely give them a call and find out more. Thanks again.
Have a blessed day.
Move with the rhythm, shake it up, stop when the clock hits 13. Sing 1, 2, 3, 4. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.